Many find leisure mysterious and connected to Buddhism. Through a scientific lens, however, it is simply an evolutionary behavior that humanity has been practicing for millennia. This engagement poses difficulties in theory, practice and final results for traditional evolutionary theories, forcing us to amend them, like classical mechanics before it. The old evolutionary theory has basically finished its historical mission. Under its influence, many aspects of human activities have undergone tremendous changes. Evolutionary theory has played an enormous role in the formation of today's world pattern in numerous fields, including politics, economy, culture, art, and science. From another perspective, it also illustrates how human society has been greatly influenced by the theory of where we came from. A continuous improvement in evolutionary theory has accompanied humans into the era of relativity and quantum mechanics. Evolutionary theory, like classical mechanics in the past, has reached a point where it cannot meet and adapt to human development at a higher level and needs to be replaced by a new theoretical framework. There is no longer just patching up evolution, but instead a comprehensive reconstruction is needed. It is undeniable that evolutionary theory does have utility in certain situations, much like classical physics. Nonetheless, there are numerous complications with the theory, particularly its reliance on materialism, which fails to acknowledge the active part that biology plays as the primary driving force behind evolutionary phenomena. Looking back on Lamarck's ideas, we can see that he was close to the core of evolution. He believed that living organisms were created by nature and that in both past and present, it had and will continue to have the capacity for directly producing life. Animals consequently have the ability to gradually advance their structures. Animal actions are aimed at restoring balance in a disrupted environment, relying on subtle inner perception. Lamarck's words are indicative of the subjective nature of biology as it relates to evolution. Moreover, commonality is a critical factor in evolution, not solely maintaining gene pools following the process, but also catalyzing its development. Without such modification across populations, continued evolutionary progress would not be possible. Currently, it is accepted that the population, rather than the individual, is the smallest unit of evolution. The disregard for this fact in terms of human re-evolution has been attributed to the large amount of variation between individuals, as well as our inclination to emphasize differences even further with social attributes. In ancient times, certain qualities such as athletics and emotional intelligence had a notable impact on one's likelihood of survival and procreating, two key elements for long-term success. Other species suffer their own effects, but to nowhere near the same degree as humans. Take horses. The consequences of dissimilarities within a herd are minimal, and none end up with disproportionate amounts of grasslands when compared to the rest. In our current advanced technological state, these disparities have merely taken on a new form, shifting from physical prowess to intelligence. Now it is possible for an infirm person to use a small firearm and defeat any strong adversaries on the battlefield. Competition between humans has moved away from physical strength towards intelligence. Math questions can now have a profound effect on someone's destiny, while persuasive orations can send them to the pinnacle of wealth and influence. This is something completely unknown in the animal world. Consequently, people are increasingly coming to value the rewards that come with diversity, and developing a forte for differentiating themselves is now a characteristic trait among us. The characteristic has been the basis of all private economic and political systems. Culturally, it has spawned humanism, and in the realm of religious belief, it has led to the exclusion and confrontation of faith. It is important to mention the Mahayana Buddhist philosophy in this regard. There is no other highly evolved idea with such a high degree of similarity. Nevertheless, it has been infected with lice for thousands of years, which has distorted its profound meaning. It has been suggested that current secret tantric methods are no longer properly categorized as Mahayana. Later, we will investigate this further, trace the course of human history, and it's evident how civilizations have endeavored to merge distinction and unity. From primordial hopes for a utopian kingdom to today's fiscal philosophies, many erudite folks scrutinized to uncover the raison d'etre of civilization. In times of hardship, humankind looks to an all-powerful deity one moment, only to resort to reason and autonomy subsequently. From the perspective of the world today, capitalism, driven by free will, temporarily holds the upper hand, and pure faith-based countries no longer exist. Creating internal competition within a species can be accomplished best by enhancing individual differences. The fact that humans have become the top of the food chain means that other species cannot compete with them, which does not stimulate human desires. A strong main theme in human society has become the acquisition of wealth and power, as well as obtaining God's protection. Only competition between humans can once again stimulate interest and motivation for development. The huge development of capitalism has solved the problem of human survival and reproduction, but it cannot solve the problem of evolution. Among the human species, differentiation and competition play an important role in driving capitalism. Scientists and sociologists now believe that the development of high-tech such as artificial intelligence is the direction of human evolution. However, this goes against the evolution of the human species. There is, however, no doubt that if technology reaches this level someday, it will not be the evolution of all humans, but rather that of a very small minority of lower-class people. There will only be a small minority of people working for these companies. This phenomenon of the few promising grand visions that capture the hearts and minds of many is echoed in certain practices. The majority invest their utmost into these promises, pouring their lives, loves, wealth, and faith into a distant hope of one day being a part of this minority. This is what it means to expand the law to the utmost, an idea originating from Mahayana Buddhism. It is not just equalitarianism or a religious statement, but an insight deeper than its surface-level meaning. As I finish up my discussion on Mahayana for today, please do consider subscribing, if you found this talk useful. Thanks for watching.